thank you for signing in to the H&H Connect podcast. This series is about all things that happen around the craft community. If you make a living through crafts, H&H Americas is for you. This month, I wanted to bring to you a collection of interviews between myself and our staff. We're going to take a few minutes to speak with each one to get to know them a little bit more. It's important to us for you to know that we are here to serve you. As our show is getting larger, more things are taking place, more excitement is happening all the time. We're still individuals that are available to serve you. We're here to listen, we're here to respond, we're here to inspire. Please utilize all of our different channels to connect, whether it's on social media, on our website, with our live chat, call us, email us. We're all available. We're here to support you, whether you're an exhibitor, an attendee, a creator, someone looking to get into the business. If you make your business in crafts, we're here to help you. So over the next segments of this show, you will meet our different sales managers, Nadine Schwartz, Eileen Lynch, Leslie Fleck, Jessica Bowick, our operations manager, Marisa Goldberg. I hope you enjoy this series of conversations. Happy holidays to you all, and we look forward to seeing you all in the new year. I can't wait to keep telling you all about the new things we're doing. Have a great holiday, everyone. Welcome, Jessica. Thank you for joining me today and taking time out of your busy schedule as we try to close out the year. I appreciate you being here today.
Well, thank you for having me, Darrin. I'm excited to share some exciting things about my background.
Lovely. And the first question I want to ask is, how did you end up in the trade show business?
Well, I ended up in the trade show business kind of by accident. I was doing an internship and I fell in love with the industry back in the day when you used to do floor plans by drafting them. And I just really enjoyed kind of the fast-paced and, you know, the passion that everyone had in the industry and the opportunities that connecting businesses. And that's really how I kind of found myself over 20 years being in this industry.
Very cool. It seems to be a common theme for myself and for everyone else on our team that we all ended up here. We didn't start here, which is kind of a interesting connection between us all. Why the trade show business? Why have you stayed in it? What makes this different than other opportunities you may have been presented with, or maybe you went away for a little bit and came back? Why stay in this segment? What's so unique?
Well, I found it that what excites me most about it is the chance to kind of create those memorable experiences of really helping companies and brands kind of foster, you know, and build their businesses and those relationships. And kind of see some of the companies that, you know, kind of were smaller and help them grow and connect those relationships. It's been really kind of fun and rewarding.
And is it, when you talk about the fun and rewarding part, like, can you speak to maybe part, like, what is the most enjoyable to you? Do you have kind of a memorable moment? Maybe there's a situation that you were working with someone, you could share a little story, or what's that enjoyment that you get, since we're talking about a joyful time of the year here, right? We're at the holiday season. So what brings you joy from doing this work?
Well, I find that, you know, you just become kind of a business. I mean, you're helping companies not only, you know, do just kind of more of the business consultant with them. And then you start there and then you kind of build that relationship with them beyond just being that business. You know, they kind of rely on you to help them with maybe their marketing or other, you know, situations like that. And sometimes you see them go from maybe a small, you know, 5x10 or 10x10. And the excitement you see as they kind of build their business from getting leads and growing from there has really been rewarding. And I always love it when you kind of get that call. Hey, Jess, I just want to share with you. I was at your show and I didn't really expect this. The first time exhibitors, that a particular connection that exhibitor had, that big sale that they had, or those multiple sales that they had that they just did not expect to launch their small business to that next level.
Well,
To
and
me,
it's
that's super
it's
cool.
that aha moment too, right?
Yeah.
It's when the light bulb clicks. It's like they finally understood what you've been telling them for
Telling-
11 and a
yes.
half months. And that aha moment, that surprise for you, for them. I also would go the other way. It's not just always the new companies. It's sometimes the oldest companies, companies that have been around 50, 60, 70 years, and they still can come and have that aha moment.
Aha moment. Or those that, because, H&H is a newer show, right? And like you said, those older companies that have been around that we sold into, had to kind of tell them what we're about and convince them to come into the show and what the show is. And for them to say, oh, I get it. I understand, and that connection of why we are different in this marketplace and what their experience was. That is really exciting.
I agree with you. A lot of in common themes through this whole podcast today is that what our goal is, as much as we're new, right? We're only 4 years old. We're still little infants, or maybe we're toddlers now. But between us, as far as collective experience, I've been with Columbus 21 years. You've been in the trade show industry. We'll go with 12 months because we won't pick out on people's ages, how long any of us have been in the sectors. But the reality of we have vast knowledge across industries, across experiences that we can share. Columbus is at the end of its 100th celebratory year of doing 100 years of business. We do business around the planet. All of that we can translate into supporting companies. And that the reality is that we're still building trust, right?
Absolutely.
People are still getting to know us, still making new friends every day. And the part of what we want to make sure everyone understands, as big as we may get, we're still small, right? There's a core team of 4 of us. We answer the phones. We go to trade shows. We answer the live chat. We respond to emails pretty promptly. We are very easy to reach. We host monthly roundtables where you can come on a Zoom call. We will hop on a call any day or time, which could be very different than what they see from around the industry of what they're used to. So we want people to understand that.
Absolutely. Like you said, Darrin, the other day, I answered the call. Someone was calling in. In fact, it was Terry from Lion Brands. And she goes, oh, you answered the phone. I thought I was gonna get your voicemail. I get everyone's voicemail. That's so impressive. I just thought we would have to set up a meeting or you're gonna call me back. And I'm like, oh yeah, we answer the phone.
Yes, even down to something as simple as the bottom of all of our emails have our phone numbers. I give out my personal cell number. It's on the bottom of every email that I send out. Scheduling an appointment right on my calendar. All the sales managers do that. So again, you can reach us, and then obviously social media. So if you're listening to this today, if you haven't done so, open up Instagram, find Instagram, please like us. We want to get to, right now we have like almost 6,200 followers. I would love to get to about 12,000, 13,000 by the time we get to the show. That's a big gain, but I know this community can do it. Spread the word, people. But absolutely, the whole point is we are people just like them. And as large as we get, we may not always be able to say hello to everyone, but we are listening.
Absolutely.
Shifting a little bit, because we work in the craft industry, right? We see lots of beautiful things. Are you a crafter?
Absolutely. I believe it or not, my background, or when I went to college was interior design and architecture. But as a child, I crafted. One of my favorite things to do is a little different than our show per se. I actually paint in all different mediums and draw. I kind of giggle a little bit too because of my interior design background and the fabric side of our industry. I used to get tested on different textiles and fabrics. So I know a little bit about the fabrics.
Nice. So it sounds like we need to have an art display by Jessica. Like we have to hang some art around the show. You may have given away a little secret you didn't want to give away today. But maybe we need your artwork to hang in our creator studio so that when people are doing their podcasting and Twitches, it'll come up behind them, and instead of like right now, what goes in there is my kids' artwork.
Yeah.
I walk through the basement and I take all their old stuff from kindergarten and elementary school, and it goes on the shelves in the creator studio.
That's cute, though. Yeah, my kids actually fight over a couple pieces in the house of who gets to take them with them when they move out. And then my husband says, no, she made that for me.
Nice.
So
nice.
They might fight over that if I bring it somewhere out of the house. But
we have a collection. It's needlepoint. I think it's needlepoint that my wife's grandmother did.
Oh,
but
cool.
She did a number of these needlepoint pillows that every grandkid has a needlepoint pillow. We've all framed them because they're old now.
Yeah.
They're all framed and hanging in every grandkid's house.
That's awesome.
Yes. So it's the generations of crafting and why we all seem to have this passion in this industry, why all of us on this team have crafts in our culture, in our blood, in our upbringing. And yes, sometimes we do answer the phone and we can talk about equestrian sports or video games or food manufacturing.
Correct.
That's okay, because I do eat. I don't ride horses.
I don't ride horses.
I appreciate horses.
But recently, I just watched polo. Get to watch
there we go.
that.
I did pet a horse last summer when I went to the Illinois State Fair, so maybe that gets me close enough. And I said, hey, I know what that saddle is. I actually knew the manufacturer.
Exactly.
I knew the saddle pad. Yes, the joy of Cologne Mesa and all of our shows. As we kind of close out this year, right? Traditionally, people take this time of the year to reflect. What have you done? What do you want to do? Not so much. Let's not look backwards, because we can look backwards and we can boast about things that we've achieved. More importantly, goals, aspirations, particularly for the next edition. I know this is throwing you on the spot, but like if you were to kind of make that proclamation, whether it's for yourself or for the clients that you help, what is that? What are those goals? What are the wishes that you just wish they would do or take advantage of as we move into our fourth show?
Well, for the next edition, H&H, as you and I, Darrin, saw it go from, as we built the show from, I think it's grown, right? Almost double from the very first edition.
197 our first year, and just yesterday, we crossed the 450 mark. Wow.
And, it's just every year, it's like building a little city. And it's just, I just always think to myself how amazed I am on the show floor of all the great innovation and the wonderful collaboration. And I look to it going, wow, my hopes for next year is, that, the attendees and exhibitors, take advantage of all these cool features and, all the cool things that we have, because we always have so much, right? And that, there's just so much to intake, and it's exciting, to make sure how can we redo that next year for them to feel inspired and excited, and somehow we do it. And I just want to make sure that we just keep doing something new and exciting and growing to that next level and making it meaningful, and that connecting with both the attendee and the exhibitor, because to me, that's what makes it exciting and, fresh and new for everybody.
Well, and I think the key thing that people always forget, it's not what we do, it's actually what they do.
Correct.
It's like we are the primary paint, we're the canvas.
Yeah.
We're the sheep, right? Whatever, we're the cotton, like, again, take whatever analogy you want. Our job is to provide a base, provide infrastructure, and provide a framework to allow people who I always say are far more creative than me, right?
Right.
You're entrepreneurs, you're authors, you're creators, all the different words you can use to describe yourselves. You're the ones who actually then make that energy happen. You bring this community to life, you bring the culture to life, you bring the heritage to life. And I think that we have to inspire the buyers, the retail shop owners, the designers, the future makers, to say, I need to invest in myself and come to the show, right? Like, while I could just buy product online, the rep just visits my store, I don't need to come. I can't say it enough, and granted, we drank the Kool-Aid, so we have to say it. There's no way to describe what it's like being in a physical place. And if you ever think that trade shows don't have a relevance in today's business world, just go to any live sporting event. You can watch it on TV, but yet it's really difficult to get a Super Bowl ticket.
Absolutely. And
Right.
just that feeling to be face to face
Yes.
is just a different experience.
You can watch Hamilton on Disney, or you can wait months to get your ticket, either when they come to town, or if you're going to go to Broadway or London, wherever it's showing. And even then, it's still very hard to get a ticket. Wicked.
And there's a reason for that.
Like, to get Wicked tickets, right? In New York, or when it's in your town. Very hard to do.
Very hard to do.
But yet, now you can watch it in a movie.
And that was
Why is
sold
it a
out
di-
too, what I understand.
Why is it different? It just is. Like, we're humans, we're human beings. It's
Right.
different. And at the end of the day, the only way you can tell that the fabric is soft, gotta touch it. The only way you can tell what color red is it on the yarn,
You gotta
you
see
need
it.
to see it in person.
It's a feel, touch, key,
Yes, absolutely.
you know? And I just think this community too, Darrin, I mean, you and I have been in the industry for a while now and worked a few different shows, types of products. But this industry is they're so creative, but I think they're just so inspiring just themselves. Because I've never worked with a group that just is just so passionate and so fun to work with. And of course, they're so creative, but they're just really inspiring how committed they are to their industry. And so that's what makes our job so fun.
With that, we're going to end there. We ended on a high note. Thank you for joining us today, Jessica. Have a wonderful holiday.
And you too.
I'll see you in the new
Thank
year.
you for having me. Thank you.
Welcome, Eileen. I am glad to be talking with you this afternoon as we get ready to wrap up at the end of the year. I wanted to have a short conversation with you that we're going to share with our community out there. And this is our chance for the community to get to know us as people. As our show keeps getting larger, I want people to know that there are people behind this and that there's people they can speak to. Thank you for joining me today.
Yes, it's great always to talk with you.
So tell me, the trade show business, why, how, what made you get into this crazy little end of the hospitality community?
Well, I have two sisters and they are both in the trade show industry. And one of my sisters had a grand idea to have me join her in the journey. So that's how I started in the events industry, and I absolutely love it. I think it's fabulous to be able to share ideas and build connections with people and just, grow different industries and, to put all of that work into something great and just to see it come to life. It's very exciting, I think.
Why? What do you think makes it so unique? Like, as you kind of mentioned, like this experience that you have, sounds like it's a family business for you, right? Like, when you think about what you want to go to college to be, many people, you think of a doctor, you think of lawyers, maybe marketing being generic. I personally went for hospitality and food service, but even that had no special events or trade show curriculum where I went to school. What is it that, if you can just go a little deeper, like, what is it that you enjoy most about it? Like, is there a particular part that says this is really what fulfills me, that makes me happy?
I like details and information. So I like just the concept of, putting something together and, working through those various aspects of an event. So with hhamericas, this year's show, I put together the cosplay competition, and that was really exciting to see all of the designers enter the competition and then have them come to the show, and then, to see them just light up being featured and people seeing their work and all that they do to put into their craft. So, and featuring them in our cosplay competition on the runway, it was so exciting, and all of the attendees were just, over the moon. So just to see all of that come together and, just to make people happy and enjoy those different parts and everything that you've worked on.
I like that. If you could boil it all down, you kind of hit on the one thing, it's happiness, right? It's hard to get out of bed if you don't like what you do, but what we do is so eclectic and so much fun. And I do believe we bring a little bit of happiness to the people that do business with us. So it's nice. It's nice to hear those common themes.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a crafter yourself?
I am not a crafter in what we feature at our show. I do scrapbooking, which we are trying to add into hhamericas, and I am a cookie decorator. I'm not sure what you actually would call that, but I like to, create the royal icing and frost cookies, and that's more my crafting.
Well, you just shared a secret, so now when we need to do thank you cards or a little photo album of the show for sponsors or things, we know who to go to. And if we want to give out little H&H logo cookies, it sounds like you have something to do between midnight and 4 a.m. now.
It takes a lot longer than that, especially for the number of cookies we would need. But yeah, again, it's,
That's 4,000 or so. It's just a couple of friends.
Exactly. But it takes a lot longer and more is involved than you would imagine, and just like kind of the science behind it and being creative. So in similar ways to those who attend and exhibit H&H, it's really being creative and sharing that with others. And, there's just, when you walk the show floor, you just feel that excitement. Everyone is happy to be there, and, they want to show people what they do and share it with others. And it's just a great feeling.
As you've worked in the crafting trade show business for a while, because you came from another organizer before this one, how would you compare the crafting business, though, and particularly working in the crafting trade shows or crafting events will put us all in, right? Whether it's festivals or markets or consumers or B2B, to other industries, like whatever other industry you may have had the opportunity to work in over the years?
Ours, it's different than, like a business to business on a specific topic. The attendees and exhibitors at our show, like I said, it's just that it's a different feeling. They're more inspiring, I want to say, but on a different level. It's just about that creativity, and they have a real passion, and they want to collaborate on ideas and different projects and things like that. It seems to be at a different level than some of the other shows that I've worked on.
Yeah, I think one thing that makes this sector unique, that we get to work, that we have the privilege of working in, is the fact that so many are small businesses. So they're not just a creative person, they're not just a designer, they're also an accountant, they're also marketing, they're also sales, they're also production, they're also legal, and so on, right? Because or if they're lucky, right, or if they moved along, maybe there's 3 or 4 employees, right? Now they get to be human resources,
right?
All of the different things. Even when you look at some of our larger companies that we get to work with that are multinational organizations and larger, this is just a division within a larger conglomerate of other industries that they get to work in, it still seems to be filled with these people that have this kind of passion for a particular end of the business and tend to still be a very Jane or Jack or of all traits.
Right. As we were talking, similar to H&H America's team, we're very small, but we produce such a large event that many people probably think we have, a huge staff of people running it. And, we're just a small group of individuals as well.
A little like Cinderella. We just have a bunch of mice at night that come out, and Jacques and Gus just help us literally sew, and we're going to sew our little outfits together here to make it work so it just magically comes to be, but you just got to be home before midnight.
Yes.
Or else you got to watch out. As you look into the next year, right, we're closing up, when you look at the hall plan, we all stand around excited, right? The feedback we've been getting from people is exciting. Do you have any kind of goals and hopes and aspirations for, I would say, 2 parts of the question, for yourself, then also for your customers, and also for the customer to be, right? Because it's, It's Christmas time, right? Isn't the Christmas movie, it's Christmas past, Christmas future, Christmas now. So we'll go with that kind of theme today, tomorrow, and the future.
Right. Well, I hope to always, expand the event and make it more exciting and more productive and engaging for everyone attending. It would be wonderful for us to grow into new product categories. I'd love to see that expand, adding even in, scrapbooking and different categories like that. That would be wonderful. Just fresh ideas are always, they just add to that excitement, right? And for myself, I love a challenge, and just to continue to grow in my relationship with H&H, and yeah, you're gonna have to edit here. Oh gosh.
Well, okay, so if we cut out that little the stuff there, take a second and think what would be like, what do you want to end on?
What do I want to end on?
Not a slab, that doesn't count, or a pine box. No.
Yes. About me personally?
Yeah, because you were saying like what you want to get at, like you said what you want your customers to get to, like what you want for the year, for next year, like what do you want to have happen?
I feel stumped. This is when I'm the worst, when I have to talk about myself. What do I want to have happen?
Have many happy clients.
Yeah.
Just keep it simple.
Okay.
Can't say what he said though. Now you got to say it though.
Right. My goal for next year would be to continue to, okay, cut it again. It's not going to go well.
Suggestion, instead of because you're getting kind of nervous.
Bad.
Yeah, well, you're getting nervous and caught up in
I
it.
know.
I would say keep it simpler, right? So the idea of like, what do I want to add next year? I want to have more clients than I have today, and I want them all to be happy and have as much fun as I do when I get to go to the show.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm sorry, my voice is a little bit lower than yours. I can't dub it into your voice.
I wish you could. Now I've gotten, to that point where it's like beyond.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can do it.
I can come back. Is my face all red though? Okay. Next year, I would love to have more happy and enthusiastic customers and clients, just adding to the show floor. And oh my gosh, Darrin. This is embarrassing. Next year, I would love to have more happy and excited clients and exhibitors on the show floor, more cosplayers joining the competition, and I would just love for everyone to feel the excitement that I have and to enjoy the show as much as I do.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing a little bit of your time today, taking time to give a little bit of insight to our fans and our community, and I want to wish you a very happy holiday season.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you as well.
A little bit and give everyone an opportunity to get to know you. Thank you for joining me today, Nadine.
Happy to be here.
So for those that may not know, Nadine and I are only 22, but we've known each other since preschool now. Nadine and I have a good long history together. We started, or at least my entrance into the trade show world was at the same company Nadine was at the same time at. One of the larger companies out there. Was that your first time into the industry, Nadine?
No, I started before that. I worked at one of the smallest trade show companies around before I jumped into the pool at one of the larger trade show companies around. I worked at a small trade show company in New York City, working on industrial trade shows before that.
How did you even, so this concept, like of all of your colleagues we've asked, like, how did you get here? Like, how did you get the trade shows as a place that you wanted to make a living?
Like everyone else, I sort of fell into it. No one goes to school for trade shows. I fell into it. My family business had a manufacturing company and they exhibited in trade shows. So I'd been going to trade shows for forever. And when I graduated from college, I was on the train with a, briefcase full of resumes going to New York City to try and go and find a job. It sounds like a cliche movie from Lifetime. And I ran into a friend of the family And he said, "What are you doing?" And said, "Go and look for a job." And he said, "Give me a resume. I'll see what we can do." And I said, "Okay." And I went looking with a friend of mine. We pounded the pavement for a little bit. And then on that weekend, I get a call from him. And he said, "So I have a couple of clients that are looking for people in the front office. Do you want to see how networking works?" Sure. I wasn't quite sure what networking was at that time. And he gave me a couple of names for a couple of companies that needed people in the front office. So Monday morning, I made phone calls. I had appointments for interviews the next day. I had a couple of interviews that week. And on Friday, I had a job at a trade show company. And I was off to the races. I was there for 8 years.
And the rest is just history now.
And the rest is history.
So, but when you think about trade shows, why the passion for trade shows versus passion for other types of opportunities? Like, what do you think makes trade shows? Why is it so interesting for you?
There is just something very exciting about creating, a couple things. Creating a city that we build, and then it comes down, we build it again, but creating an opportunity that offers success for our clients. And we work with them all year to create opportunities to create success. But what happens at a trade show is just this unique experience. There's opportunity for sales, opportunity for reunion, there's opportunity for engagement. And there's just something special that happens at a trade show that just doesn't happen anywhere else. And it's just really exciting. There's a sense of, there's an energy that happens there that's just very special. And it happens at trade shows that I've built, trade shows that I've been to. It's just, there's a special energy that happens in trade shows that I find exciting.
I completely agree with you. Hence, but I drank the Kool-Aid. I do work for a trade show company.
We are trade show junkies.
Right through it all, though, I think society has come to learn the need for live entertainment or for live interaction. For as much as we've gone through this historic point in history, right? Like the years of COVID and the 3 years of nothing and something and who knows what. You know, the reality of professional sports. The NFL is not getting any smaller. If anything, they somehow are still getting bigger because they're finding that there's a whole lot of parts of the planet that don't watch American football yet, that actually like it when they get to see it. Yeah. Or movies kind of have come back. Like, people do go to theaters, maybe different, maybe not as often. Restaurants. But they go. I'm always waiting at the restaurant that I want to go eat in. Like, I don't know about you.
100%.
Retail. Yes, retail is still alive. Right. E-commerce hasn't killed it all. And particularly, I think in the products that we're going to talk about, there's something still to touching and feeling and speaking with a person.
There's that see and touch experience and engagement that you need to have. And I think there's a lot to be said for, there's the need for the big box guys, and there's the need for the independent retailer when you walk in, and there's that one person that knows exactly what you need and can pull something off a shelf and match a color and the whole spectrum. But there's that there's definitely that face-to-face experience and the need for the retailer. I 100% agree.
So, as you said, you've worked in different industries before. I know you've worked in food, you've said manufacturing. Why crafting? What do you like about crafting? Like, if you were to compare these different industries, are they more alike? Are they more different? Why has this been the one that you've so far chosen to stay in?
I've worked in a number of industries, and it's a very weird list. And at some point, to a degree, a trade show is a trade show is a trade show as far as business. But the creative community there's something very special about it. It's a hug fest for starters, but there's something I'm a creative human. I do crafting, I'm a maker, so that part of me loves it because it makes my soul very happy. But it's a very kind, creative, lovely community that everyone that walks in, there's this level of, let me help you do this. Let me help. There's this, everybody wants to help someone else be better. It's not always about competition. It's about a level of the word escaped me at the moment, but they just want to be able to help someone else. They'll send you, even if they're a competitor, you know what? I don't have it, but my neighbor over there has that color and I don't. They can help you. They may be a competitor, but they want to help you. Mm-hmm. And it's just that level of, it's kind. And it's an interesting community that has that. And not every industry has that. And that part of it, aside from the colorful and bright and everything else, that's just wonderfully universal in this world, I hope. But that level of kindness and compatibility, I hope, exists in the world. It seems to be everywhere on the show floor, and it's sort of unique in our industry, I hope, beyond, but it's just lovely.
And I think what makes one of the characteristics that make this community different, big and small, they're all the same. Right? Yeah. There's not, even if you're a multinational, very large corporation, they still act and think like a small entrepreneur, where sometimes in other industries, when you have very large manufacturers, it's very formal, it's very processed, it loses a little bit of its layer of individual personality and the nimbleness of a startup. Mm-hmm. Here, I think they just seem to be in a different mode and a different time space. You mentioned that you're a crafter.
I am.
What do you do? What's your crafting thing?
I am mostly a paper crafter, so scrapbook, paper craft, card making, and like a little bit of beading. And I also do photography. So that photography led me into the scrapbooking side, to be able to preserve my my memories in certain ways. I was documenting my nieces, who are now grown, 2 of which are married with children, which is mind-boggling because, as you said, we're 22. But the fact that they're married with children is a little bit of a brain bender. But that's where it sort of came from. I sort of and by crafting, I cover the entire table with product in order to make a project this big. But I sort of long to be able to knit or crochet, to be able to sit on the couch and do something small while I'm watching TV, and my brain just doesn't allow it. I've tried. So I wish I could, but I leave that to people whose brain do that, and I will appreciate it, but I have to stick to the paper crafting side.
Well, but I will say we're going to have an experience at this year's show with our friends over at Kimberbell. Punch needle.
Punch needle's fun. That I've done.
Which is, you can do big, obviously. We're going to have a big punch needle exhibit where you can come and do it with us. But punch needle you can do on the couch. So maybe that's it. Or latch hooking. That's another one of those little kind of, can be smaller. It could be big, but you can do little latch hook kinds of projects. So I would say don't rule out our fiber friends yet, or fiber being paper, yes, but you can have more woven fibers instead. Well, I guess even paper is woven fiber. I don't know. I'm just gonna stop talking. It's all fiber, except for the stuff in my pocket because it's just plastic. I don't seem to have any cotton and paper in my pockets.
Your children would take it anyway.
That is very true. So as you talk about this sector, do you find that there's anything that you just wish the exhibitors would do or the attendees would do? Is like, do you have a hope or an aspiration and a goal for people as they're thinking about what's to come?
I wish, and this is global because a lot of exhibitors do it, I wish more exhibitors did more of the prep work before the show. We provide so many tools that, and some of it can be a little more overwhelming, and I completely understand that, but we provide so many tools for them to be able to tell the world all the things that they have. If they would fill out or complete more or take advantage of more of the tools we provide, it would just give them a bigger spotlight for when the attendees get to the show. And then conversely, for the attendees, if they were able to do more of the homework side before they get to the show, as overwhelming as the show is when you get there, it can be a lot. It's like walking into Oz. I mean, it's rainbows and sparkles, and it's beautiful. For them to have done some homework before they get there, so they're better prepared for the excitement they're walking into, so they don't feel as overwhelmed, and they don't feel like they don't have a chance to take advantage of all that's there, or say they didn't know about things. They would feel more comfortable with what they're walking into, because it is a lot. But
I agree. It's
but there's
people,
just a lot of good things.
all people here, as we talk about it, as or the way I tend to talk about it, in complete admiration for P.T. Barnum. Right? We are the circus. Our job is to create a very large tent. Right? We fill it with our oddities of all of the segments of our crafting world, and we focus very much on the fiber and fabric segments. And then within that, you can then find smaller circles where if you're a crocheter, you can be a knitter, you can be a needle pointer, you can be a cross stitcher, you can be a quilter, a cosplayer, a garment maker, a little patchworking, paper, all the different types of arts that can happen. You can keep making smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller circles to take something that is quite large, but make it as small as you want it to be. And then not only that, then you have all of these other components that to me is so critical to plan in advance. Because do you want to go to a meetup of people that think like you? You want to go to a meetup of people, maybe cosplayers, because you want to learn how to communicate and sell to cosplayers more. Maybe you want to go to an education class led by Trisha Malcolm on our trends for the upcoming year. Maybe it's a keynote session. Maybe it's the fashion show. Maybe it's our movie premiere. It's a long list, and not everything is for everyone, and that's okay.
Right.
But at the end of the day, everything is not for everyone, but there's something for everyone. Kind of back and forth, yin and yang of that sentence. We'll say it again slower. There is, what did I just say? We have things for everyone, but not everyone wants those things. Maybe, I don't know. We'll rewind the tape. You can listen to it yourself. But the reality is we do so much and we just don't stop because we want to continue innovating. We want to keep invigorating. And for me, the greatest challenge is bring a friend, bring a friend, bring a friend. There are 22,000 plus retailers across the United States. Forget about Canada and the rest of the world. Can we get one from every store?
So actually, here's a message I will say. I personally made phone calls to retailers last year and the year before. And I will tell you, sorry for the barking dog. What I will tell you is, in speaking to some retailers where they are a one-man band and they say they can't close their store and go to the show. What I will tell you is that's actually the reason you should go to the show. You need to invest in yourself and you need to invest in your store, and your customers will understand. They will respect you for it because they will be the beneficiaries of all the things that you will learn and all the things that you will see and all the goodies that will come from that. You need to invest in yourself. And for those, some people don't like driving that far, we will find a husband share for your husband. So have him drive you. We'll find a husband share for him and you can shop around and then he can drive you home or bring a friend, whatever it is. But it's worth investing in yourself to come to the show. I'll get off my soapbox now, but I think it's a worthy note.
Well, I couldn't have said it any better myself. We'll close off on that wonderful comment. To all that are listening to the segment and to you, happy holidays. We'll see you in the new year, and thank you so much for sharing a little bit about yourself.
My pleasure. Happy holidays.
Leslie, thank you so much for joining me on this podcast for our December recording. I want to take this opportunity for everyone out there to get to know you. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Darrin. I think it's a wonderful idea to introduce each team member of the hhamericas show team, so everybody can get to know us a little bit better when we see each other at the show, and also understand, since we have a really big show with various areas, to understand a little bit better who we are and what we are responsible at the show.
Absolutely, I agree. What's even fun, because we are a global community, before I get into it, Leslie, I know we said we had questions, but before we go into these, even the people who don't work with you. So Leslie works with our international customers. She works with our visitor VIP program. She works with a number of our associations and partners. But the important question I want to know, because I'm always jealous of this. How many languages do you speak?
4. I'm from Germany, so I speak German as my native language, and then English, as you can hear, and I also speak Spanish. I lived in Spain for a couple of years, and I speak French because we have to learn French in school many times in Germany.
That's just amazing. So obviously you're a global human being, right? You've moved around the planet a little bit. You've had many different cultural influences, probably had the opportunity to work in different industries. Why this crazy thing called trade shows? Why the trade show business?
The trade show business. So I work in customer service in, as you said, many different industries. I worked for a long time in expatriate management and intercultural training. And also I worked kind of the same job in another industry in a university. I made sure that international students that came to the United States had everything they needed, and same thing, intercultural training, and had their paperwork in a row to go to university here. And then I had a friend that told me about Kölnmesse and Kölnmesse Chicago, and she said, you have to meet my friend Mette Peterson, who is our boss here at Kölnmesse USA now. And I met with them, and it sounded really interesting I didn't even know that there's a trade show for everything in principle, and it sounded really interesting because I love to work with people, and I'm a people pleaser. It makes me happy to make other people happy. So this sounded like a really good opportunity in another industry for me, additional industry for me, to get new skills and work on a global basis with international customers and help them expand their horizons and be professionally successful and help them solve their problems to be successful and go to our shows. And 8 years later, here I am. I'm still around, and I am part of the H&H Americas team now.
So after 8 years, you've obviously accumulated a lot of experiences, funny stories probably. Is there one thing you can kind of narrow it down? Like, what is the one thing you enjoy most? Or like, how would you summarize for someone who doesn't understand what we do? I always find that to be interesting when people ask me, what do I do for a living? Mm-hmm. And I fumble sometimes at first. Me, the one who speaks a lot, even can fumble. But how would you boil down to like, what's the enjoyment for you?
The international aspect. So I say I work in an international marketplace. So we help people to export, so either to go to Germany if they come from North America, or here with H&H Americas, I help the international customers to export to the United States. So I think it's really important to give people this opportunity to work on a global basis. And what I really love about international shows is this positive, productive environment of having the world together in one building, so to say. You have all these nations that support each other, that help each other be successful. They share stories, they share cultural experiences, and for me that's really nice to have the world around me on a daily basis.
I agree. That's why I do the same thing. We drank the Kool-Aid together. But with that though, do you feel what's so different where you and I are not in the same place at the moment, right? You're traveling at the moment. I'm in the Chicago area. And we're doing this on Zoom. Mm-hmm. Why do we need to get together in a building? Why do we get together at an event?
Because it's different if you are together with somebody in person. I mean, that's the same thing. If you say, oh, I would love to go to New York, and you look through the catalog, or you walk the streets of New York. It's the same thing. That's real life versus digital life. Where I think in our industry, real life is what counts. That it's not the same. And to thrive in this industry and have an international and successful trade show, it's needed that people meet each other to build this trust. You do business with people that are at the other end of the world sometimes, and you don't want to do this over Zoom. It's important that you start to build this relationship with your counterpart before you start a business for a long time.
I think well said. Shifting gears a little bit on you, you craft. Would you call yourself a crafter?
So I try my best. I'm really not good at it, and I really love to see all the creativity walking through H&H Americas, and I'm totally wowed by what people can do. I have no talent in this area yet because I would love to learn. I tried several things. For example, once I tried to do one amigurumi with these little teddy bear sets, and mine ended up to be more like a coaster and not a teddy bear. So I try, but I'm not there yet.
Well, I have a feeling that you know a few people. There'll be a gathering of a handful of friends, a community that's going to get together in just about 5 months. And I bet you someone will be glad to sit down with you and show you lovely. At least how to start, right? These things, this is a project of time and a project of love. So they'll definitely get you started. As I noted, we're only now, 5 months to the show. Do you have goals? Do you have hopes? Like if you were to, what's your vision of what we will experience? What do you want people to think about as they think about coming, as they might be planning to already come? And then when you get to talk to them after that experience, what would you lay out for them?
Well, I would like for everybody to have a very good experience, meaning that they did their homework in preparing for the show, that they meet a lot of people, make great connections to get out of the show whatever they come for. So if it's to find new customers, if it's to learn new skills, or whatever it is, I hope that we are the platform for everybody to go the next step for their business, for their career, for whatever they would like to come to our show for, that we can assist them in reaching their own goals.
With that, I think that's a wonderful way to put the period at the end of the sentence. I really appreciate it, Leslie. Look forward to it. Enjoy your holiday season, and we'll see you in the new year.
Thank you, Darrin, and everybody. Have a happy holidays to everyone.
Hello, Ms. Melissa. Thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your busy schedule as we try to wrap up the year here at Cologne Messe. Today, as we said, we wanted to chat, and the goal of our talk with you is going to be for people to get to know who you are. So first, who are you and what is your title and what do you do on the H&H America show?
My name is Marisa Goldberg, and I've been with Cologne Messe for 7 years, and I have been managing the operations for the H&H show for the last 4 years since the beginning, and really having fun with that, and really enjoying getting to know the people that are involved with H&H.
Wonderful. But for people that don't have any, who don't come from the trade show world, what is operations?
Operations are all the little details, working with all the different people that make the show run, that kind of put the show together, to, from building the booths to setting up the meeting rooms to actually working with the exhibitors. Part of the job is exhibitor services also. So operations and exhibitor services. So exhibitor services would be helping you with all the tools you need to have a successful show.
So if I need a table and I don't know how to do it, call you. If I can't find how to order a chair, I call you. If I just need help how to bring my stuff into the building, how do I deliver? How do I move out? Do I call you?
Yes, you can start by calling me.
Yes.
And then I work with the different people at the convention center and different people that are servicing the show, and I can help you get the information you need and the services you need.
The bottom line, first phone call, Marisa.
Right.
She'll go from there. If she doesn't do it or doesn't know how to do it, she knows where to find the answers.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. Now that we understand what you do, how and why are you even in this crazy world of this thing called trade shows? People don't even know that this industry exists, let alone degrees or college, going to school for this stuff. How did you find yourself to be in what I say trade shows are part of the hospitality industry?
Right.
How did you find yourself in this sector?
Well, like a lot of people, I kind of fell into it because I started out in school as a theater major, and found out towards the end of my schooling that I didn't know what I was going to do with that major. And then I changed to East Asia Studies. So that's totally different. And I was going to go teach English in Japan and didn't get into the program. So I ended up in Chicago. That led to a job where I worked for a company that did productions for Fortune 500 companies. And it was kind of like show business, right? So I was a theater major. I thought, well, this is kind of like doing shows. We do scripts, we do meetings for these McDonald's and these companies. And that's how I kind of got into the meeting planning side of it. And then one of my next jobs that I got was in hotel sales, which I didn't like sales. So I was more of an operations person. Found that out and worked for a company that did a lot of different shows more conferences. And they said, you're going to manage a food trade show. And I'm like, what's a trade show? What am I going to do? Well, no one really knew how to tell me what to do. So for about 2 years, I muddled along and learned how to manage a trade show and loved it. And then I continued on to into my next job, and I was there 17 years and managed their trade show. So that's how I kind of fell into it. I kind of just, I really like the organizing side. I like the operations side, obviously. I like all the details. I like seeing it all come together. And that's kind of why I kept doing it. And the whole industry, I just love the whole hospitality industry too.
Cool. I agree with you. It's this thing that you don't realize you fell into until all of a sudden you turn around and be like, how did I get in this room? And then you start building that. Then you got to go figure out the story of how you got there. I agree. It's a common conversation with many people that work in this segment.
Right.
In all the industries you work in, because since you work with Cologne Messa, we work in many different industry segments. You've worked on video games, dentistry, food, lawn and garden, hardware tools. And obviously now we work in the world of crafting and fiber products. What do you like about the crafting business? Is there are they different? Are they the same? Are they all just the same and it doesn't matter? A table's a table, a person's a person? Or is there something that you find that makes this group of individuals in this community different?
Definitely. From my past experience, I've worked for a lot of medical organizations or medical associations, and a lot of those are a little more cut and dry, like a lot of education, not as much enthusiasm for the trade show section of the show. So, and a lot of competing for time on the floor. For this group, I was just so excited because everyone was just so excited to be there. I mean, the attendees were excited to be there. The exhibitors were excited to be there. Everyone is really close in the community. There's a lot of enthusiasm. Everyone wants the show to succeed. And I think that is just refreshing and was just something new to me, instead of always fighting the competition as far as trying to get people interested in the trade show part of the show and trying to get people on the floor and trying to get people excited about it. And I think that is just something about this show that is very different, that I think that everyone in the community is very excited and very wanting the show to be successful. And that's just what makes it really special.
I agree. Like all industries and all things were made up of people. But the people in this industry, whether they're very cooperative, even though they compete and what's in the scope of the world, it's a relatively small segment, right? Compared to say aerospace or other medical equipment. Like this is a rounding figure of other industries. But the reality is that there are big businesses, there are small businesses, there is innovation, and they all seem to find ways to complement each other and keep the industry moving higher is the overall goal.
Right.
You craft yourself. Yeah. Do I craft myself? Are you a crafter? Would you call yourself a crafter? Do you like to do things or not? No,
I'm thinking about it more now. When I was in, I say like high school, I did needle pointing and macrameing, and my big thing was I sewed for like 8 years. I was in something called 4-H. I grew up on a farm, so I was in 4-H. They had different programs you could do. So I did sewing for 8 years. I sewed my last thing that I sewed. I actually had a mentor I worked with all summer, and I sewed a winter coat. I did a suit and jacket and pants and a suit, and the year before that. And I got pretty good, and I sewed a lot of my clothes. But then after I got out of school, or out of college, I don't know, I kind of, trying to get a new job and moving and all that, and I just never picked it up again. So I don't know, but I'm starting to think about maybe knitting or crocheting now. But and then on a side topic, let me go back to the 4-H. The other thing I did besides sewing and cooking was I showed pigs.
Who knew? You learned something, really, pigs?
Yep. That's awesome. You go in the arena and you walk the pig around. They judge your pig.
Just anyway, like, were you like the pig wrangler? Was it like the pig wrangler, or did you raise them?
I got them when they were young, and the thing was just like, don't make him into a pet. Don't turn him in. Well, I always did. They always just I had one time where one laid down in the arena and wouldn't get up, and my friend had to pour a bucket of cold water on it to make it get up out of the arena because it was so comfortable. So anyway, but yeah.
So you have a certain affection for the movie Babe.
Yeah, right.
Pigs are very smart.
Pigs are very smart. So yeah.
Yes.
They're cute.
Well, hey, in that movie, who knew he can wrangle sheep?
Right.
He knew. Abe knew. Now you stumped me. I don't know what to. What's the follow-up to that? I wrangled pigs. No, and I agree. And that's what's fun to hear as someone who works on the show, and what our customers should know, meaning our customers being the retailers and the suppliers. That is the typical story, right? You started something when you were young, you did something maybe with grandma or grandpa or granddad, whatever.
Right.
And you forget about it for a while. And the whole goal of this is that we need to keep people coming back and reminding them of things that they've learned once before, or a hobby that they had and they've just kind of life moved on, but now maybe it's the right timing. But I have a feeling you will see a few people in May who'll be more than glad to help you reinvigorate your crafting goals of life, whether it's a little granny squares crocheted, or maybe you want to get as bold as our friend Kate and do a whole vest.
Right.
Yes, that's kind of amazing. When you think about the year to come, right? Because we're doing this recording here in December, right? We're wrapping up the year. This is kind of getting ready to explode and launch into the new year. Do you have hopes and goals for the next edition?
Yes, I'm excited about the next edition, and I'm excited to see the show grow, and continue to grow. And I'm also excited to keep finding more tools and better ways to help all the exhibitors, and especially a lot of because we have so many new exhibitors, to help them navigate the show and navigate how to be successful, and use the tools that we have to prepare for the show and make it easier for them and just more efficient. And I think that's it's going to be a goal as we get bigger and get a little more, have a lot more things going on at the meeting and the show. And I also hope that one of my goals, or I think all of our goals, is to see different sections of the craft industry come together and continue to grow the show and continue to bring everyone together in under one umbrella.
I like that. I agree with you. I think the challenge we have is because we are growing large and we have lots of things going on, from a creator summit, the H&H University, the sewing dealer exchange, to an exhibit floor, to the main stage, to the cosplay, and I'm missing 500 things there. How do you stay on top of it all, right? Keeping informed on it all. And we're unique compared to other industry events because we leverage technology extensively. We have an exhibitor checklist portal. We have a mobile app. We have a whole content platform where you have exhibitor profiles and you can load discounts and coupons and documents and images and videos, all of those things. So I would add to what you said is the challenge, or the hope I would give to everyone, is that they just take a look at all the tools and resources they have, and maybe make use of one more tool that they didn't use last year, and just make that small improvement. But I'm never good at just asking for one thing. I want two things. The other thing I would say, reminding from an exhibitor point of view, is to say, don't forget to tell people you're going to be there. Yes, it's our job to market. Yes, we do the best we get to get people there, but all of you have the products. We don't actually have product. We just make space available. So bringing products for the first time, telling people you're introducing things, maybe offering a show special. Together, we're now almost on the doorstep of 450 vendors. If each one of you brings 50 clients, just think how busy we will be. And to the attendees that are listening to this, my encouragement for you is just invest in yourself. Invest in the time, invest in the money. Make sure you get out and see things. And if you have questions, just call us. We're humans, right? We actually answer the phone. If you call our main switchboard number, it rings to me first. If I can't get it, Marisa is actually second, and it goes down a call list of 14 of us that are here for Colomesa to support you. We have live chat on our website. We actually answer our emails. Sometimes it takes us 48 hours. That is true. But we do get back to everybody. So just please have a question, ask a question. There's no dumb questions. I just give dumb answers some days. Any other parting words you want to offer to anyone?
No, I just want to tell everyone to start getting excited for May and expect a wonderful show.
I agree. Thank you so much, Marisa. Great talking to you today.
Thank you. Good talking to you.